Okay, so it's about 2 in the morning. Since I got paid, I went to the grocery store. I owed somebody some money, but they said, "Oh, you can pay me in a couple weeks." So I really stocked up at the grocery store. And then tonight, because it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up like at 11:30, and then I could never go back to sleep. So finally, I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm getting up," and I started making tea and eating Danishes. Because I was able to stock up at the grocery store. And I was laying there and I was thinking, oh, that was good. I got some stuff that doesn't have to be cooked. And so that is one thing. I'm eating a lot more junk, a lot more junk. But I don't know. It's hard to... I feel so fortunate though. Like, man, it is so fucking cold outside. It is so slick, like slickery, you know. It's man, it's like ice pack, wet, and it's slippery. And so and just taking luckily Archie didn't want to go, so it was just Stella and Max, and we walked down to the end of the driveway. And I think it's very cold too to be walking. But we walked down there, and oh my gosh, to try and keep steady, it is hard when it's so slippery. And then there was one part that I walked across. It was a fucking ice rink, and a wet ice rink, and I started slipping like cartoons. And then what was I gonna say about that? It's oh, because I was so thankful that I'm not out there. Oh my God. And the going and walking the dog and stuff, because like when you're homeless, like you don't have a yard or anything, it's like you have to go spend a lot of time just going on dog walking and walking and walking when you have animals. And so I knew that that would end up, you know, if I had to live in the car, it would end up having to be like that. But God dang, I'm thankful for this. Oh my God, I'm so thankful. I think for right now, I mean, I'm sure my mom will be sick of it at some point, but I think right now she is, you know, likes to have somebody here to take her to the store and stuff like that, because she can't see anymore. And I can just help her with some stuff and everything. So so that is, that's good. We just, you know, can't talk about the end of the world because we disagree what's going on. But it's kind of funny because some of the things, you know, that are coming out are like what I had said was going to be happening. And so it's just going to keep unfolding. And this is somebody who I just saw. And it says in the, like on TikTok, it says your friend or whatever. If you are friends, or otherwise you're not following them or whatever. But it says when it's your friend, like you follow each other. And when I was first on there, I was following a lot of people because I thought that's what, you know, you got to do that. But then I started having all this content that I was like, I don't like this content at all. And so then my daughter was like, well, you don't just follow everybody. So now I don't do that. I go through in the videos I like. If I like those stuff, I'll follow them. But I don't go and do that like I did before. So I don't know, you know, what our intersection is. But anyways, so she was doing this rant kind of thing about, it's like people don't understand their biases and how they generalize and stereotype. Because she is these people who are trying to expose the truth. They are not there for us. They are billionaires. Billionaires are the worst people in the world. It's not impossible that they could be a good person, and they would never do anything to help us. Just like this whole thing. And it's like people don't realize like their own biases. I mean, both of those people, I think, were born into a huge amount of money. And I know Donald is a humanitarian. I know he gives money away and helps people all the time. He doesn't give away his whole fortune, but he definitely does things to help people. And I think that, you know, I mean, he's doing a huge thing right now to help people. And, you know, I don't know all of Elon's stuff, and I don't know if he was going one direction and then turned and went the other direction, or what the deal is with him, you know. But at this point in time, he seems to be very much trying to advance us to, yeah. I mean, some of these people know, like, they know the the gravity of the situation. And if they didn't know before, you know, everybody's had awakenings. Some of these people who are going in a certain way have had awakenings and stuff. And they know the gravity of the situation. They know what's going on in the spiritual part of the situation. And that this is this, it's the ending of an era. It's this reset. It's everything is changing to a new, the stage is being reset for a new experience. And so the old one is ending, and then it has a lot of stuff that has to go with it. And all the people have parts of them that are attached to it. And so the people have to work on themselves. And so, yeah, that would be, to know that stuff and to fight against it is bad karma. That's where you are putting out. But there's a lot of people who are doing it innocently right now. And that is, it's not the same kind of bad karma thing, because it has to do with intention. If you're intentionally trying to harm people, then that is where you get your bad karma, the part that, you know, you have to fix. You have to put it back in order. You know, it will come back on you. You can't just go around hurting, you know, doing, it's like crimes against another soul or something, because, I don't know, kind of like to be in that group or something, you have to have a certain, it's like a compassion or something for all the other souls. So weird sometimes how this seems like such a graduation. Like we've been going through all of these different lessons and learning, and this is like a graduation, you know, to see if you can let go of things and stuff and advance into this higher mind, higher way of being. And so it's quite interesting. But anyways, that's biased and generalizing. You can't just look at a whole group of people. That's what bigotry and racism and stuff is based on. You can't look at a group of people and think they're all the same. It's so wacky, man. Everybody is so different. And so you can't generalize, oh, well, you know, and then to be about money. And I used to be like that about money. I was very, you know, like judgmental or something of people who had a lot of money, who, you know, like money hoarding. It's a gluttony, you know. My nose is running. I'm looking for my tissue. Oh, man, it's driving me crazy how much it just runs and runs and runs and runs. And I don't know if it's the stuff I'm breathing here, or now I'm getting hot. Man, that's weird. It's like I just start moving and all of a sudden like I'm sweating or something. And so anyways, the but that is, so I think that there's some people, you know, and Elon could be one of them, because he was born into one of those aristocrat families, I think. But Donald may have been too. Like, I don't know all the history. See the static electricity in my, it's mental. Like, I just got a brush finally. They sent me the first one, and it said boar bristle, and it had all this plastic, and I tried brushing my hair. It was just like ripping at it, and it was going like static, and I was like, hell no. And so I returned it and got looked through all the thing and found one that said all boar bristle. So got that one, and then my package was here. When I ordered it yesterday morning, my mom, and it said it would be here by the afternoon, my mom's like, oh, it won't be here by then. It was sitting right, they carried it all the way up the driveway, carried it all the way up all our stairs, and put it right there by the door. And so when I started making my tea, I was like, oh, I wonder if my honey's here and stuff. And I looked, and it was like delivered. So yeah, I got my, good things are happening. And oh, and the car that I'm interested in, I stopped yesterday at the place and asked about it. It's $6,000. And you know what's so crazy? It's a 2000. I was like, oh my God, it's 25 years old. That is crazy. But it's got a new motor, new transmission and stuff like that. And it just seems like it'd be rugged. Like you could drive it through, you know, like if there's roads out and stuff like that, because there's no telling what's coming. It's like, and it's going to be in certain areas, and you're going to be like, I don't know, it is, there's just a part, there's a part of just everything, it's like we took advantage, and it's like, now we get the repercussions of it. And even though it was out of ignorance on some levels, we should have known. And so, I don't know. There's just a lot of different stuff going on, and everything is in this reset. Everything is changing, and there is people who are aware of that. And some of them are rich. Some of them have power. Some of them who have power want to keep us ignorant. Kind of like when you see somebody and they say that they've got cancer, but they don't want anybody to know. Or that there's even people who the doctor tells the parents and the parents don't want the kid to know. You know, there's people who want to, like, because it would just be easier on them. And so there's some people like that that would just, you know, just let the humans just live their life out. It would just be easier on them. But we're not all here for that. Some people are here for this. It is, because it's not just a graduation or advancement. It's, it's taking a whole new handle on things. It's like we're about to create a whole new world. And so, yeah, it's, and you have to be ready for it. You have to be, you know, connected to the situation and stuff. So there's going to be all sorts of people. It's not going to just like, I don't know. I don't know what some of these people think. Like, yeah, I mean, there's some people who are super rich who, you know, probably are feeling, you know, they maybe felt one way during a certain period of time, and now the universe is showing them all these other things, and it's making them feel they're seeing more, you know. Because sometimes when you are trying to make a lot of money or something for a while, you're just feeling good about yourself. Like, look at it, I'm being successful. Because there's such a parameter, a success story or whatever. There's such a motivation behind that it leads people to want to feel that success. And so they're so focused on their own success and stuff, they're not thinking about the people around them, because there's also a part in the world you can't carry all the people around you. You can't save everybody. You can't, like, at some point when you have more money, then you would look out and it'd be like, fuck, man, what do you do when every single person out there is fucking drowning? How do you save them all? What do you do? Like, it'd be overwhelming. But see, that's those souls' lessons. Those are things for them to learn. And I just feel like it's really fortunate for us all at this point that we are at this time when the fortunes are switching. But I do think some of it is also a reset on our priorities. Like, you know, you're not going to have all these people who just want to be famous and rich. Just want to be rich and famous just because. And, you know, it's like, you got to be bringing something to the table. Like, and you got to follow your own path. Like, you have a path that is set for you. And when you're following that path, the doors are going to open, but you also have to be feel good enough about yourself to go towards that path, because that path is dimly lit. It's built on trust. It's built on your connection in the spiritual realm, the connection to yourself, of being able to tune into your own instincts, your own motivation and stuff, and to be able to question it and notice, like when it is, that you're following what the universe wants with you. It's so trippy too, because, I was really spiritual for all that time. And I knew the universe would shut doors and stuff, but it let me carry on for a long time. And the doors, it wasn't like the doors were shutting. It was kind of like the spinning door or something. And I kept going through this spinning door. But it was all of my lessons. It was all this stuff that was supposed to happen, so that once the doors started shutting, then all of a sudden I would realize, is it was a lot of, I wouldn't have understood my patterns if I wouldn't been able to see them. And I could see them so clearly. And so those things are meant to happen. You're not supposed to be hard on yourself, but that had my whole plan for my retirement, how I was gonna, I had my life set out. It was weird too, because I had already had some things told to me, prophetic things or whatever, from different ways for my future. I just didn't know how it worked out. I didn't know what happened. And so, but you gotta keep going towards your thing. But I didn't at that time. I had no idea what I was going towards. I'm just thinking of 3D world of you work and then you retire. And I just wanted to be able to retire early, have a couple houses, and be able to travel around a lot. That was my thing that I wanted to do. And I was willing to be a workaholic at the time in order to gain what I wanted. But the problem is, when you're a workaholic, for one thing, there's people who always come in to take advantage of you. For another, though, is that there's always something else you need. Oh, you could get this or you could get that. So you end up also spending a lot. You have to be very good at, and there is people who are, I'm not saying oh, it's impossible. No, there's people, we're all different levels, and we're all here to learn different things. There's people who can put a lot of stuff aside. I'm going to have to put a lot of stuff aside to try and get that car. I'm going to go towards it. I don't know if it's meant to be mine, but one thing is when she went in and she called to ask the person some questions, the person's name who owns the car is named Kelly. I said, "They're Kelly?" I said, "I'm Kelly. It must be meant to be." And so, we'll see. But those are the kinds of things that you can't force things. You can't lose your mind over it, because if it's meant to be mine, it's going to be mine. And if it's not, and it's meant to be someone else's, then it's going to be theirs. And so, you just gotta, that's where you gotta kind of go with the flow. I don't even know if you can borrow money anymore on a car that old. 25 years, that is crazy. I cannot believe. That just sounded so crazy when she said it's a 2000, and it was like, oh my God, it's 2025. That's 25 years old. I don't know. It was just a perspective suddenly that I felt wow, that is a long motherfucking time. God damn. And so, I don't know that you can get loans or whatever, but I'm just going to have to, because I have this situation, and I don't have to pay a house payment, which that was a part of not paying my house payment. That's how I was able to get my explant and stuff like that. If I would have been paying my house payment that whole time, it would have been holding me back. And that's where I kept not only choosing my integrity, but choosing my freedom. so I could go out and live my life, even though in 3D world, like, this seems crazy. This lady who's in her mid-60s, she's like homeless now. So, like, but I know I'm in good company because I know there's a lot of people who are really struggling and they are homeless and they're my age and older and they've got, you know, a lot of serious stuff. And I mean, in 3D world, it is also would be getting worse for me because my long-term disability, they don't pay past 65, and so that is a huge chunk of money that would be gone. But I totally trust into my inner knowing, what I've been shown and stuff like that. And I feel more prepared for where it is that we're going, but I just don't know, like, all of the distance it takes to get there. Like, man, I don't know. Maybe there's going to be tons of people living in cars and stuff for the next year. And maybe that's just going to keep growing and growing. Maybe that's the mass exodus. Maybe we're all living in our cars and we all start just driving to the same place like fucking, what was that? Is Space Encounter of the Third Kind, or what is that? I can't think of what it's called, but and we're all just all of a sudden go get in our cars and we all start driving to this one point, and could be, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be magical things that are gonna happen, like that plane disappearing, which somebody was putting film of saying that this was what they saw last or something. I don't know, but it looked like this giant portal, like they just flew right into a portal. Who knows, because there's portals out there and they're opening up all around us because, you know, we're at this time is you know, the universe is revealing itself, is showing itself, and the people, it's like they keep themselves hidden behind things because they don't want to see, because it's so overwhelming or something. But it's going to be revealed, like, and there's going to be people who are overwhelmed by the lies and stuff. Oh, which Candace is just going to town. She is here to really just, like, all the people who are here to disclose are just like going to town, man. And Elon, he is exposing all this stuff I just can't get over. The people can't recognize, like, he's trying to expose things and help us, and they are outraged. They're freaking out, and he's a criminal. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. But it's like the same thing as like with that lady. Billionaires are no good. And it's like your biases. It's like you're generalizing, stereotyping. Those are the things you got to break down. When there started being a big movement about racism and people started talking about it, it was obviously, you know, there's a lot of people who carry this great divide in their heart, but it's not just like against darker people. It's against all sorts of people. They just generalize. They don't know how to, it's weird because it was like something that I feel like I learned it at school or something. I feel like that they made a big deal about it. How bad it is to stereotype that people are individuals. It seems like it was like 7th or 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade. It was like, man, and they just drove that home. And it's weird how it's so common, but they did. I'm telling you, during the time when I was in school, they were teaching such different things. And our programming on our TVs was so different. Yeah, everything was so different. And so, yeah, I don't know how some of the things that people don't know, but there's a lot of stuff, man. And it's all by perspective, because it's just like the Truman Show. It is like whatever your reality is your reality. And so people don't think about the past. They don't know what the experience was during different things. They don't know about, watching movies and watching TV when nobody kissed, nobody was doing, showing their bodies and stuff. And then all of a sudden it just was on everything you'd watch. And then it went into total, like, fucking sex, total, it went in a huge pole shift. Like, yeah, that is, like, we went in a lot of, pole shifts in our morality and stuff throughout this time. That is why it is like, oh, I see it like a timer being pulled tight, and now it's gonna, as far as it was pulled tight, it's gonna flip back. So that is why it's gonna be like a pull shift. It's gonna feel so extreme because the people are pulled so tight. And like this, like what Candace is saying about this fucking guy. I mean, I kept hearing things about, you know, the person is trans and stuff like that, a French president or something, and or was married to one or something. I'd heard that a long while ago, but it was after I'd already heard about Michelle being Michael and stuff. And so then I saw a couple of other things of like this. There's Dutch king or all these people. Like you look at them and their partners, and it's like, I don't know about that. I think that's two fellas. And so anyways, and one of them was maybe this one was a Dutch prime minister or something, and it was the same thing with them walking with a group of people, and the people looking with the camera right between the legs, and they're just fucking just swinging away. It's like, you don't even try and hide it. You just let it just dangle balls, just swinging with this silky dress. I guess that turns them on or something, maybe. Like feeling the silky, you know how like those guys, like there's a fetish of guys that like to put on women's underwear and stuff. Maybe that is, like they're all fetishy. Like that's generalizing, stereotyping, but yeah, it's always, but I don't know. I think they're pretty fetishy. And so, but now it just gets even worse. It gets so much worse. So not is it just a trans person, but it's the president's dad. He married his dad. Only the dad turned into a woman so he could marry a woman, but he married his own parent. Like, what the fuck? Like, how weird is this shit gotta get? Like, oh my God. Like, it just gets weirder and weirder. Chelsea, that's who that is. Chelsea Clinton. Yeah, she got $85 billion off of her and Elizabeth Warren. Some of these people get money off of stuff that is like, it's so dark. It's so obvious and blatantly fucking us all over. And that's by intention. And okay, so let's say Chelsea is born into this family. Well, this family's had a long time to propagate her. So, but see, I mean, there's rumors about Elon and his weirdo family. And, you know, and he chose the path of disclosure and trying to make amends or repent his sins or something maybe. But I don't know if he really, you know, I don't know all the rumors on all these people. But so if Chelsea gets sucked into the laundry scheme, but is it all through manipulation? Is it through her own desires and intent? That's where it's kind of has to do with your karmic balance and stuff. But so many of these things are different soul patterns playing out. Like I was just watching this movie, and I can't watch things without seeing it on this soul pattern thing. And I don't know, I've always been like that about especially like Lifetime movies and true stories and stuff like that. And so I just look at it on a different level than people look at it. And I've always been really into Lifetime movies and stuff. And like I said, you know, these are our stories and stuff. This is our stories of life. And so in this one, and lately I have been on this I got on some kind of true story chain thing where all these old movies from like the 80s and 90s. And so I've been seeing one after another these true stories that like were impactful to our judicial and laws and rules and stuff like that. And not only that, have been so many about the corruption of the judicial and the judges and how corrupt they are and how their own biases, that they use those against us and stuff. And it's like, this is some fucking madness. And I was just telling my mom last night, because I was like, so weird, because when I'm watching these, I'm like, they really put this stuff right in our faces, and then we didn't realize it. And she had watched something too where it was like the same thing, and I was like, you know, oh, they were telling us they were doing this, but we just all, nobody believed it. And but it's been out there for so long, and the corruption, and but I think at a certain point too, there was just it was way more zombie-like with the people. And it was hard to get anybody to listen. Everybody just, it became this couch potato. Just everybody sat around bitching and watching TV. It became like this era. And that's when like lots of people started gaining weight. And then it was like the couch potato, but it was like they didn't go into the next thing like, oh, well, I don't want to be a couch potato. I don't want to just sit here and, you know, blossom. I gotta stay active. It was like a surrender to it, a surrender to unhealthy and divulge, or what is that word? Divulge, like indulge into indulgences, you know. Like, that was probably around the time when fancy ice cream became mainstream in the thing. Lots of indulgence. And people fed into that rather than taking care of themselves. And see, the other pole, the shift, the other side of that is this unhealthy kind of what's happening to people. People are sick and stuff. And that doesn't mean like only people who are overweight are getting sick, because there's also, you know, healthy people. There's a whole bunch of people who are dropping dead that are sports people and stuff like that. And that is what has to do with what you're here to experience, or what you're here to do, but it has to do with different kinds of things too. There's lots of things in everybody's experience. Like, there's no, like, you can't just be like, well, if I do this, then I won't die. That's not true. I mean, death is inevitable. And some people do that stuff because it's a lesson, because then it was just everything is lessons. I don't even know what else to say about it. Everything's lessons. But in this movie I was just watching, it had these two sisters. I don't know the whole, because I was busy doing stuff, but it was these two sisters, and one felt overshadowed by the other. And the one who, so the blonde one, she was the one who the dark-haired one felt overshadowed by. And the blonde one got all the guys, and she had a stalker, but she had a new guy, and she was in a serious relationship, and the stalker was freaking the fuck out. And then he starts going towards it, because the sister was friends with him, because they used to be a couple, the blonde sister and him. And so the dark-haired sister starts feeling really sorry for him and stuff. And then he starts pursuing her and telling her all the things that she wants to hear and stuff. And then he's like, you know, if I just would have met you first and all that stuff. And but there was so many things that when I was watching it, it was like, this is like Cain and Abel stuff. Like all these storylines and stuff, when you look at them, when you step out of the drama thing, you just see these soul storylines playing out. And, you know, like this guy coming in, and the two sisters, and having to make a choice, and the sisters having to make these choices and stuff. That's what this whole fucking shit is about. That's what this whole life experience is about. It's about going through these different scenarios and then having to make choices, hard choices. And then you don't know the repercussions always of your choices. Sometimes you don't know until you go to your life review. But there is always repercussions and stuff, and that's where this karma and stuff comes from, these karmic entanglements and stuff, because of these these patterns of betrayal that we experience with one another. And but it just is, this stuff is on such a much deeper level that people get caught up in the drama of what is happening presently and not considering the depth to what is really going on in the interactions, and how to confront it in a deeper, more spiritual path of being able to see, like, what is really playing out here? What are we really doing here? What is it that we need to really look at? And there's so many. I mean, man, all the time when I'm watching those movies, I can't help but see that kind of stuff. Like, there was one that I was watching the other day, and it was this rich lady. It was her and her sister. I think her parents died or something, maybe. I don't know. They had a bunch of money. And then this younger guy, who was a doctor, wanted to marry her, and she got all caught up in that. And the other sister was still single. But so this sister marries this younger guy who's a doctor, and she's real rich, and he, you know, was the conspiracy of life is a depth, I think, that many of us, I think the people who don't have it are just unaware or something. Because I think most of us have gone through some pretty serious shit in different lives. And so she, but he runs a pattern of this, and then he kills them off because he's just after the money. And so he met this medical, like a drug rep. He met one of them at a doctor convention, started having an affair with her, then she starts doing all the killing for him. And so but some of these interactions and these parts where the people realize and stuff, those are the things about our souls, these things playing out like this. It's the hurt and the deceit and like, I was watching this movie last night, and it was an old movie called the something Billie Jean, the something of Billie Jean or something like that. And it was this old movie. It even had what is that guy's name? Christian Slater. Had Christian Slater as a little kid. Like, I didn't even know he was as young. He looks so young and so skinny. And he was real cute. And the girl in it her name was Helen Slater. I think she went on to become like Supergirl or something. She was really, really pretty. And so she had these guys, like guys wouldn't leave her alone. Old men and stuff. And what was it? It was something about, anyway, she ends up being like this savior for the world. Like, everybody starts, like, she's on the run, and these guys are lying about her and stuff, and all the people want to, it was like Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing. But what was it I was going to say about that? Because it was, yeah. It's when I watch some of these movies from these certain eras, and I watch what the people, how they behave and stuff, I'm always like, man, I don't know how anybody can't see that this is all about the learning and growing and stuff. Like we have grown past a lot of stuff from different time periods and stuff. And, like in this one, and this is a kind of a stupid example, but this, like, they're all driving her, Billie Jean, and her friends that are escaping her and stuff. They're all in this one car. Oh yeah, they're in this big old giant station wagon that just drives crazy all over the place. But so they're in this station wagon. I don't know why I'm picturing them in a sports car, because she did change cars a bunch of times because people were helping her all across the whole thing. The cops are chasing her. It was this whole thing. But but there was these guys following her on this one part. And, oh yeah, because I mean, this is at the first of it, before that she had become the hero. This is just when the guys were all after her and stuff like that. The guys going out and getting on their car, like, I'm sure there's still people doing this, but just doing really stupid shit. And like, we've kind of grown past that. Certain behaviors, stupid, mindless stuff, like, we've advanced past some of the stuff. And it's just weird, like, when you see people doing it in the movies, and you think, God, like, nobody would do that anymore. Nobody would be that stupid anymore. And it's just weird. I don't know. I probably, because I watch a lot of old movies. I think if you watch a lot of old movies, then you're going to find, like, oh my God, nobody would do that anymore. That's wacky. And it's just like, man, we really do learn and advance and grow. You know, we do as a collective, we do as individuals, even though some people can become very stagnant. But that is, you know, that's part of your lessons. It's part of, like, you know, just like these people sitting there thinking, like, they're focused on Elon and Donald being billionaires, and they are not there to help us. They're there to steal these people's Social Security or something. Their information, like, I don't even know. It seems so weird to me. And but one good thing is Elon bought 5 commercials during the Super Bowl. He spent $40 million of his own money, apparently, to buy 5 commercials during the Super Bowl. He's like, well, we're going to get this through to you guys somehow. Like, you guys are going to have to see. Because there is so many of these people who just stay mindless and just focus on these mindless things, like, you know, the sports and stuff like that. And it's so weird as how much stuff has been being exposed over the last couple of years, and there's still so many people who don't see it. And so it is, all this sports stuff is still being exposed about. It's all about the money. Like, it has nothing to do with, like, if a team's good or whatever. No, they're even scripted. Each season is scripted. Like, when somebody's gonna get hurt, it all has to do with money. It all has to do with, you know, I don't know, because it can be weird. Like, these people, like, what they're willing to do. Like, if somebody bought a team, maybe their team never gets slated to win a Super Bowl, but the ones who do over and over, it's because they have, you know, the freak out parties or something, which I'm probably, because they were just doing a thing about Beyonce's won 33 Grammys, and then they were talking about all these freaking musicians and telling how many they had won, and it's like, oh my God, what a fucking scam. Like, all these things are, you know, just like Meryl Streep winning Oscar after Oscar, the point where we're all like, oh my God, she really is the best actress out there, and she just beats them all out all the time. And then you start finding out, like, I don't know, she's way up there in the high power witch realm or whatever. She's into, you know, the sacrifice and the blood guzzling kind of bullshit. So yeah, it's weird how, you know, I haven't really seen much about her lately. Tom, they kept his character going for a while, but even though he's, like, back in the shadows now, but I think he was gone years ago. I think so many of these people have been gone for a while, and so I don't know, it's weird. And maybe that is why some of these people look like synthetics or something now, because they're just trying to trick us. Because what was it? I saw something the other day where I was like, oh my God, all they do is try and trick us all the time. Just try and fool us and trick us. Like, as, can you imagine just spending all your time and all your energy just trying to fool people, just trying to trick them? I just think it's way better to just be real. Like, it takes a lot less energy just to be yourself. And I don't know. I don't understand how people get so caught up in willing to be different than themselves. to please other people. Like, I don't know that I don't know that I've done that. I can't think of when I've been willing to give myself up. I always end up being like the oddball at different things, you know, but I'm always just like, I don't know, because it seems too hard to not be yourself. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how to just go be fake and phony. I was caught up in the rat race. You know, I was a workaholic and stuff like that. But I was still real. I mean, I still was honest. I was still talking about aliens and Bigfoot all the time. So, ghosts all the time. I always want to talk about spiritual stuff. So, I don't know. Oh my gosh, that hurt my throat. Hold on. So, I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental of people who, you know, don't know how to be themselves, but I don't know how to not. So I don't know how to tell somebody. To me, it's just like, you just got to be comfortable, not really care about what people think so much. And, but not to say that I've never cared what people think. I cared what people thought when I was younger, but it wouldn't change me into changing myself. It would just make me kind of feel bad about myself. I don't know if I don't know. It's weird when you look back and you try and understand yourself and stuff. It's like, I don't know. I don't know that I really felt bad. I think there was a lot of, it seemed like there was a lot of where I was just confused. Like, it just seemed like I was always like, I thought people had more of an understanding that they had a soul and could talk about things on a soul level. But it was like, nobody could. And then even if you could talk about God or somebody or something with somebody, and it would end up being like a Christian or something because they believe in God, and you try and talk about God or this world, and it's so different how they look at it. And so it was always like, I don't know, just a way where I looked at people like, I just don't get it. Why don't people like look at these things or think about these things or talk about these things? And so I don't know. And I don't know, you know, I mean, it's like different things hold back people. And so this is the part where, you know, it's each of them seeing it for themselves, seeing themselves in a new way, seeing themselves in a new light, and connecting with themselves. Each person has to do it for themselves. It's not like, you know, I could sit here and tell somebody, oh, well, you need to do this, this, and this, and then you'll be all fixed. The only way you can fix yourself is to connect with yourself. You have to connect, confirmation. You have to connect into your own self. It's like your own path, your own intuition, your own inner knowing, your own flight plan. And that is back on this manifesting thing, because when you're on your flight plan, so you are going towards your positive timeline, you're going towards your destiny, and you are on that. Because to me, it is like it's told to you in your head ahead of time, but then people aren't in your head and they don't know what it feels like to be you, so they just think like they look at it on a different level. And so when you're going towards it, you look kind of kooky to other people, like that doesn't make any sense, that's kind of nutty, but you can feel it and you're going towards it because you know that you're supposed to, and it's like your destiny, so you're going towards it, but people think you're weird. But that is, you're manifesting, you're going towards your life. And you can be manifesting a negative timeline by, I don't even want to say manifesting, like I don't feel like I was manifesting a negative timeline when I was in the rat race. I feel like I was setting the stage for my lessons, like setting the table. I was like putting everything out that I was going to need So when my lessons started, I would have reference. I would be able to access myself and see my own behaviors and see my own role in my own life and stuff. And so that's a positive thing, not a negative thing. And so, but that is also what turned me into the more positive timeline. Because before, I definitely felt like, life was out to get me. It was like, fuck, man, I just kept thinking I had a lot of bad karma. It's like, man, I must have been a real fucker in a past life. Like, man, I couldn't believe it. And so, that's the level that I thought of it. And so, but it was definitely more victim mentality, poor me or whatever. And, but I didn't ever become like hateful or vindictive. It was just, I don't know, there was times I definitely felt beat down and abandoned. Like, how could you do this to me, universe? Like, where are you? And felt alone and stuff. So, but not to the point of wanting to lash out and hurt other people. Like, that's a whole nother level. Like, that's a whole nother level of lessons. That's a whole thing in itself. And so, and those, and that could be stuff that people haven't learned yet, like this lashing out and hurting people, and the karmic debt you create for yourself by hurting people. It depends on the level and stuff. It depends, like, so many things, your intention, and then we're here to play out these patterns too. That's what the other thing is. It's like when you go into it, it's like you have a knowing. But apparently or supposedly or whatever, that there's a lot of more advanced beings that they don't come and do this. And I don't know if it's just Earth or what, because of the karmic debt. Like, they don't want to get caught up in this karmic cycle of having to put things back into balance and back into balance. Because if you're out in the heavens, you're not doing that. It's like more of in the game. It's more like kind of like the souls reincarnating are kind of like how we look at like gamers, I think. How they just, they just keep going and they want to play another one. They want to play another one. They want to get better at it. They want to do better. They want to beat this guy. They want to be, it's more of this, it's a game. Like this life thing is more like a game. But, and I don't think your karma, it doesn't carry over into the heavens. Your vibration has to do with it. But your karma, it's like you can't advance in the game until you clear your karma, kind of. It's like you have to keep the karmic clean and stuff. But that is this period of time. So that might be why it stands out, because this is this period of time of putting things in order and clearing out old bad karma and stuff like that, and doing penance and trying to do better in the world and trying to make the world a better place. When you do things for other people that is out of caring and not out of monetary gain or something. Because that's another thing too about the manifesting is, because there's different levels of it. Because manifesting into your best life isn't choosing a life that you want. It's manifesting into your best life. And so it's following your inner guidance and stuff and going towards something that may not make sense to other people. And you may, be laughed at or fun, it could be whatever, but those would be a part of your lessons to get you there. And so then you get there, but all along the way, there can be things that you want, like, you want a house, and it's not like you have to sit there and go, well, I got to make all this money and then I can buy a house, I can do that. You just got to keep asking the universe, well, I need a house and this is what I want, and keep showing them, I want a house, I want it to be like this, I want to have some bedrooms, I want to have a nice big bathroom, and picturing it and focusing on, that manifesting. When you're picturing that is when you are creating it with the universe. because then the universe will bring it to you. However it comes, it will bring it to you. And so that part of manifesting is, but your whole life destiny isn't. Like, there's different parts of manifesting. And so that is something I feel like that people don't understand. They think like, well, if I just sit there and I think it hard enough and long enough that I want $10 million in my bank account, it's going to be there. Or $10,000 or whatever. I tried all that. After I watched The Secret, I did all that stuff. And trying to do it over money. And it wasn't happening. And I was hearing loud and clear, if it's not meant to happen, it's not going to happen. And so but last night I was thinking about that. And the thing I got really loud was like, okay, because this is where the universe always knows best. So at the time, I was in my marriage with the last fella. And so number 4 was fucking, was the bottom, was my rock bottom. And so it was, and there was something about money. I mean, he was a guzzler, a money guzzler. And he always needed something. He was insatiable. And so there was something I remember about the money. And I had seen The Secret and stuff. And so I had written it down on my bank account. And all the visualization and believing it and all that stuff. And it just wasn't coming. It wasn't coming. And then I was getting the message, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And so, but last night what I was being shown was that if that money would have went in, and then I would have got this, we'll say $20,000, and that would have just saved the day for this. That would have just carried on something that wasn't meant to carry on. And so that's why things have a better plan. It's a bigger plan. It's not because, oh, well, I need this and I want this. It's like, yeah, but what if the thing you're trying to save is what's ending? And what if you need to let go of it? And what if you're trying to come up with this because of that, because you don't know? That's why you got to trust destiny. You can't fight against destiny. And that has to do too with, like, if you're not meant to be rich, but if you have like a thing inside of you where it just keeps feeling like, I know I'm going to be rich. I know I'm going to be rich. Well, I think like a lot of people are about to be rich, but what we consider to be rich, like to not have to worry about money. And so, but if you keep feeling that and feeling that, then you got to try and figure out, what am I here to do? What am I supposed to be doing? Where is this coming from? Not just sit back and I'm going to picture it. I'm going to picture it. No, you got to figure out, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? What is it you want me to do? And so that's where you got to get in touch with yourself. Tune into yourself and your inner guidance, because it knows the flight plan too. It's not going to tell you every exact moment, like just like that, showing me, because I'd never seen that before. When they showed me, I'm up at the fridge and I've got my thing and I'm manifesting this. I swear to God, it was like $20,000 or something. And then when they had just shown me that though this morning, it was like, it's kind of like, can you not see? Like, that was supposed to end. You weren't supposed to be there. And what if you would have got that 20,000? What would that have done? You would have kept going. You would have, it would have just been sucker. And so, yeah, it's like, you gotta let go of some of this stuff. You gotta be like, go with the punches and trust the universe. Trust your higher self to know, like, there's something better. There's that, like, it may not go exactly this moment the way I think it should, but that doesn't mean in the long, it's not going to end up where I'm supposed to be. And so you just gotta kind of go with the thing, and don't let those little things, because you don't know. You don't know what how the story plays out to get you where you're going. Just like how this story's playing out. Like, I didn't see that coming, man. Some of these fucking president's married to his own dad. Like, what the hell? And his dad's like, what the hell? His world is so fucking weird. It just gets weirder and weirder all the time, man. So, anyways, okay, I've got a couple more minutes. So let me think, because, It's just crazy weather, of course, everywhere, and the earthquakes and volcanoes. It's just anything can go at any time. Oh, last night I was standing outside, and there was this little plane, and it kept going back and forth over my mom's house, and it was like so low, and it was like, I was like, oh shit, we're about to have a plane crash right here, right now. And it's like those kinds of things, you just like, I swear to God, anything can happen at any time. And I think they've had like 65 crashes or something already. It's like February. Oh my God. That is kind of funny because what was it, 65 in 2025. In 2020, I think it was 36 or something. And then like in '08, it was like 6 or something. Like, they're just dropping like flies. But I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming. But I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming enough where it was like, fuck, I'm not flying. Like, I stopped quite a few years ago. I was like, fuck that. No way. There's something going on. And and that to me is like where you get you're in touch with your inner guidance and stuff. Then that, but it's weird because it's on all these different levels, because some people are going to start listening to it, and then they're going to be like, oh, I should have listened sooner, or I wasn't listening to this voice, and I thought this was my crazy side and stuff like that. And so they were always going to start listening, and then they're going to, that's a part of their lessons is, trying to figure out why they weren't and stuff like that. But it's not like you're supposed to be before you are. So when I say this stuff, it's not like I'm trying to shame anybody into being a certain way or something, because you're always going to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. You're always going to know the things you know when you know them. My mom was talking about something with relationships or animals, something, or maybe pet relationships or something. She was talking about something the other day. And she's like, I just wish I would have known sooner. Oh, I remember what it was. We're talking about how men and women communicate different. And she said that, I wish I would have known that sooner, because then I would have been different in my marriages if I would have understood some of this stuff before. And then I said, yeah, but you're not supposed to, because you're supposed to learn from it. And then that's how you have your reference, is so that you can see the error of your ways, so then you can learn from it. And so you're not supposed to know the things before you know them. You're not, we're supposed to be able to open ourselves up, I think, allow ourselves to learn, allow ourselves to not be experts on everything, allow ourselves to go with the flow, allow ourselves to benefit from an experience and stuff, not just sit here and belittle ourselves and be hard on ourselves because, well, I should have known that. I should have done that sooner. I should have been better. I should have. It's like, well, yeah, you can look at it that way, but you can also look at it, oh, these are all the things that taught me to become this way. And so then, that's, to me, the more positive way to look at it, is to be more accepting and to see the benefit of the things that you go through. And that is, how you become who you are, is what you go through. And then it's like life after life too. It's not even just this one. And so, but that is how you become who you are, is all of the things, all of the people you meet, all of the experiences that happen, all the pain that you go through, all of it, all together. You take any of that stuff away, then it changes. It changes who you are. It changes what happened that day. Just like if I would have got the $20,000 when I was manifesting it, then it, but see, when you're manifesting, peace, when you're manifesting peace of mind or something, that could lead you right into a divorce. When you're manifesting shelter, a home, that can end up having you move to a different place. When you're manifesting a better job, that doesn't mean that it's more money. It could be it's better for you because you have more time to yourself, or it's less of a stressor on the job or something. And so the universe just plays in a different playing field than this three-dimensional existence, this three-dimensional world, of gain and success and money and all of that stuff. But when you start looking at some of the things like why it's not going this way, instead of being hard on yourself or you're not in God's favor or whatever, to realize, it has to do with fate and destiny. It has to do with what I'm here to go through right now. It has to do with what I'm here to experience right now. And you don't know how long every experience is. Like, I'm in the middle of this one and I still don't know how long it's going to be. But I feel like, I've got more direction. Like that red car, and if I'm going to be here for long, then yeah, I'm going to be joining in on the living in your car. Not just living in your car, because I could always come back, stay at my mom's in the garage, or go and set up a homestead or whatever. It's just like right now, it just feels like to me that we are, as a society, as a collective, we're in this time of change. We're in this and it's kind of like a shuffle, and it's kind of like waiting to see like where the cards fall, like where I'm supposed to go. But to me, that red car up there stood out, and there was a lot of things. I like the way that the windows are really dark, so if I was in there sleeping, people wouldn't be able to see. I like that it is rugged, and I would be able to get around in it. There's quite a few things too, because like if I got a camper, I'd be having to drive a camper all through town all the time and stuff. I was like, I don't know. And even a van isn't very rugged, and it can't do very much like on 4-wheel drive and stuff. And so I was like, man, and it has a tow hitch, which, I don't know. I've had a thing about, like, I feel like we all need a boat. So anyways, I don't know. But I feel like, I've got a plan, and it may end up being, getting that little car and joining up with some more people and heading for the freedom cities or something. I don't know. Just like I said, it's like the cards are all going, and we got to see where they fall, and they're going to keep going, but there's just so much resistance. It's like these people are so kooky. It's so kooky. It's like and they just don't realize it, because they can't stand this racism and bigotry and stuff, but that is what they have so much of inside of themselves. So much bias, so much ignorance, so much, I'm not listening to them. Those people are bad. They're all bad. It's like the universe is trying to show you something different. So anyways, I'll show you my tooth. And so it's like, man, it's just so good. I'm so excited. God, at the time when it was looking real bad, I was like, but I didn't know. I kept on thinking, there's no fucking way I'm letting him do a root canal. There's no way I'm going to go in there and let him drill it. The only thing would be is I'll let him pull it. And it was also kind of dicey, where I was like, fuck, man, if this breaks more and it breaks in the root, because that's what happened over here where this dentist broke these teeth. I had to get one of them surgically taken out, because when it broke and went down into the root. And then it was like, fuck, I don't want that to happen again. So that's why I was like, I was trying to really baby it and stuff. It's still tender too. So anyways, but so today's Saturday, and tomorrow I do want to go into town, and I'm just hoping it hasn't snowed, or there was some of it melted on her driveway. There was a lot melted in the streets, but Jesus Christ, part of her thing is a fucking ice rink to get out of here, and a goddamn steep hill. It's like, shit, man. And so, but I'm going to plan on going tomorrow, download this one and the other one, which last night, so I took those 3. We went in to go shopping, and I knew it was going to be hours, so I just set it in the car and let it start downloading. And they were all 3 going just boom, all of them going at the same rate the whole time. And then one of the shops would come out, and then I think that was when we were going to be heading out, and I saw that the other 2 were already on, but the other one was still processing. It was 99% processing. I was like, man, when I was bitching about the 15 minutes, this one was like processing for like 5 hours. I was getting so irritated. I was going in the comments and writing it in the comments. Finally, I went to bed, and then when I got up, I saw it had been I had done it for 5 hours, so probably once I went to bed or something, it did it. But I couldn't believe how many hours it said at 99%. It was completely done downloading, and just wouldn't go on. was like, how does this happen? What is going on? Am I only allowed to put on a certain amount of time every day? Am I like, is YouTube blocking it? Like, I don't know. It was weird, but I better hurry up because this will take too long. So anyways, tomorrow I will download, tomorrow I'll talk in the morning, and I'm going to go out and download, and then my star link is supposed to be here either next Thursday, sometime next weekend. So anyways, this week I'll still have to do a couple of these lump up things, and so I will, though, talk to you later. Talk to you later. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh. Anyways, just remember what we're doing here is learning how to love ourselves, because that's what I keep trying to talk about, and learn how to love everyone, because that is a part of it, and how to have a loving day, because that is the path you choose. And so anyways, that's what we're doing here, and that's what I say. Work on that, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.